Hey friends! We're back and we're jumping into a brand new series. Let me tell you a little bit about it. When we think of the Israelites wandering in the wilderness, we often think of it as a time of disappointment, of suffering, of lots of waiting. We often forget that God was there even in the wilderness, reminding the Israelites of God's goodness and His faithfulness. No matter their circumstances, the people experienced that God was with them and moved people like Joshua and Caleb and Rahab to take an incredible leap of faith. You and your kiddos will also come to realize that you can spend time with God anywhere, and you can trust God, and you can take risk for God, and lastly, you can remember what God has done for us too.
Hey kids, good to see you. Are you ready to hear a really epic story today? This one's about Moses and the Israelites. Israelites? The Israelites were God's chosen people, but they didn't always follow God like they were supposed to. Today's story begins at Mount Sinai. Moses was their leader, so God gave Moses a list of 10 commandments or rules. God gave them rules like, I'm the only God you should worship, and don't hurt each other, and don't steal from each other. God wrote these rules down on pieces of stone, and the Israelites agreed. But the Israelites weren't very good at obeying God's rules. Before long, they began setting up other gods. And because of this, there was a separation between them and God. But God wanted to be close to the Israelites, so God gave them plans for a special building called a tabernacle. The tabernacle was special because God was going to live in it and be near to them every day. Even though they'd mess up, the Israelites wanted a place to spend time with God, so they started building. They brought their prized possessions like jewelry, gemstones, fine fabrics, and threads. Those who were able to help with the work did exactly that. The Israelites built and built until finally, one day, the tabernacle was done. God's presence came down to them and looked like a big cloud. The people could actually see God's presence. How cool is that? When the cloud moved, the people did too, following wherever God led them. You might not have a tabernacle, but that's okay. Because of Jesus, you can spend time with God anywhere. At church, at home, at the park, or in the car. It doesn't matter where we are. You and I can spend time with God.
Take a few minutes and read Exodus 35, 4 through 35 with your families. And make a bullet point list of instructions that God gave the Israelites on how to build the tabernacle. And then I want you to draw or look up a very simple picture of the tabernacle. Show your children the different ways Jesus was represented throughout the tabernacle. You can use the next slide as a cheat sheet of how Jesus was represented in each thing throughout the tabernacle. Our memory verse this week is 1 Samuel 12:24. But be sure to fear the Lord and serve Him faithfully with all your heart. Hey parents, so I will link some worship songs for you guys. For crafts this week, we'll go ahead and create some sort of a clock on a piece of paper and write at the top anytime, anywhere, or something along the lines of that. You can write along the outside different locations that they can pray. Really, you just want to get the point that they can pray anywhere. If they don't know how to write yet, then have them point to pictures in magazines. You cut them out and have them glue those pictures to something like this on the outside of their clock, showing that these are the places that they can pray. As far as games, why don't you go ahead and build a pillow fort in your living room and have them gather some special items from the house that will help remind them that Jesus is the intercessor, that Jesus is our bridge, our communicator between our hearts and God. That's it, guys. Good luck, and we send our love and lots of prayers for you all this week. Some families are big, some families are small. God's grace keeps our family, one and all.